All right, this is a Viva on the Street update, and yes, I'm wearing white socks with Crocs. I know it's a fashion sin, but there's nobody out here to witness this fashion sin. It is now April 24th. We are nearing the 4-month mark of François Legault's 4-week curfew. In the second year of the pandemic, the 4-week curfew was so as not to overwhelm the hospital system over the holiday season. And François Legault's 4-week curfew has gone from 4 weeks to forever. And it doesn't really seem like anybody really cares. Although I do know a lot of people do care. They're just not vocal about it. I care. I'm going to be vocal about it. Tonight's Viva on the Street update is not about the curfew. It's about what's going on in Calgary, Alberta. Now, for those of you who've been watching my Viva on the Streets and vlogs for a while, you might know that on Easter, there was, let's not call it a raid because we don't want to be accused of using inflammatory rhetoric. There was a police visit with a health inspector and 5 armed policemen visiting a church on Easter Friday, Good Friday. And the pastor, Artur Pawlowski, he reacted quite strongly, and some might critique his response and the words he chose to use to refer to the policemen who were visiting his church on Good Friday on Easter weekend. Well, he reacted quite strongly. His reaction went viral, and viral as in even made it to US media outlets, as to what's going on in the land of the free, Canada, where armed policemen show up to a church on Easter Friday to shut down services or intimidate or harass a pastor. He reacted quite strongly. The police backed off and he was hailed as a hero. And I said, there is no fear hiding a wish here. There is just a fear hiding a fear. I said, that's good. The police are going to go and they're going to come back stronger than ever. Well, apparently the update is that the police came back today, maybe not stronger than ever because they still left, but they showed up stronger than before. And whereas before they had that health inspector accompanied by 5 or 6 armed police officers, today they showed up and they had, it looked like closer to a dozen armed police officers to remind this church or to harass this church based on apparently some court documents that they got. We didn't see the court documents, but we did see the health inspector, the same person as the last time, accompanied by many more armed police officers, seemingly trying to serve papers on Pastor Artur Pawlowski. And he was having none of it. He was reading the papers, picking on the technicalities of the parties in the papers before saying, make an appointment with my lawyer if you want to serve something on me. There's a highlight floating around on Twitter, which I'm going to play at the end of this, but I'm also going to play some of the introduction that is not part of the video on Twitter, but is on Artur Pawlowski's own YouTube channel, where you can fully appreciate that it's actually uglier than it looks in the highlight that's making its rounds on Twitter. The police show up apparently during services on a Saturday, where there are 5 days in a working week where they could show up and serve whatever papers they had obtained. I presume they did not obtain court documents on a Saturday because unless it's a dire emergency, judges don't sit on a Saturday. So they show up on a Saturday to try to serve these papers. And at one point, one of the officers says, don't get into the personal space of the person who's showing up to serve you these papers.
What I would really...
Please, you don't have to get into a personal space. Thank you.
Well, you're in my personal space, so...
Can I explain to you, Artur?
And the person who's serving the papers, after trying to explain that they're there just to have a conversation with upwards of a dozen armed people. That's typically how all good conversations start in a free and democratic society. Show up and have a conversation. It's like that scene from The Family Guy. I just want to talk. I just want to talk.
I just want to talk to him.
Dad, this is ridiculous.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk.
But the bottom line, they showed up stronger than they did before, tried to serve some papers. It seems to not have worked, and I suspect they're just going to show up stronger than they did this time, the next time. Seems to be a dog here. What are you doing? How's it going? Okay, let's see here. We're going to have a little play date.
What do you think, Bailey? What do you think? Hey, Bailey.
All right, good enough. No blood? That's good. So they show up, and the pastor again loses it. And he loses it, and he uses terms that I would not use. He uses language that I would not use, but he uses language of someone who, apparently being of Polish descent, and I say Polish descent, being Polish born and emigrating to Canada by the sounds of it and by the looks of it, might know a little bit more than some of the Canadians out here who have not seen the descent into madness, and I'm using that as a forgiving term, who might have not seen the descent of free society into the society that the pastor is describing in his response. It's a slippery slope until you hit the cliff, and then it's just a free fall. And it seems that we've gone into a straight free fall. And if you watch the pastor's full video, and I'm going to link it in the pinned comment, it is as though the intent is to provoke a reaction from otherwise good people so as to justify more of a reaction. And it's something I've said for a while. It's something I'll continue to say. You know, the proper response is not the one that justifies an increased response from the oppressors, because that is exactly what they want in terms of a response. And so by responding the way they want you to respond, you're playing into the hand, and you're effectively doing exactly that which they're trying to get you to do in the first place. It's atrocious. And I now have enough of a feel for what is being said and done internationally to know how the international community views our country, our response, and the way our government and its police force have trampled and suffocated and what's the word? What is another word for absolute failure to respect the most fundamental civil rights and liberties of any free and democratic society? You have a dozen cops showing up to a church on Sunday, and by the looks of it, didn't seem that there were that many people in the church. As if there's nothing else to do in this country, as if there's nowhere else those resources can be better spent in terms of actually solving the problem, as opposed to just oppressing the people for what are ostensibly and obviously government failures. It is very easy to beat down on the people who can't punch back up, as opposed to actually addressing and solving the real problems, which are systemic, systematic, and prolonged government incompetence. But heck, it's a lot easier to lock people in their homes, shut down churches, and strip these citizens of their civil rights and liberties than to actually address the underlying fundamental government incompetence that has gotten us here, that has kept us here, and that seems to be keeping us here indefinitely as we enter month 4 of François Legault's 4-week curfew to flatten the curve of ICUs during the Christmas season. We are now entering spring and summer, and children cannot leave their houses after 8 o'clock at night to enjoy the fresh air of Canada because of our governments. That is it. That's the Viva rant. I guess it's another Viva rant on the street. And people say, how do you keep optimistic? At some point, you have to accept that it has to get worse before it can get better. The old cliche, it's darkest before the dawn. There's an expression in there, but bottom line, it has to get bad enough so that the silent majority, who I know exists, ceases being silent. Until it gets that bad, the silent majority will remain silent, and the vocal minority and the oppressive minority and the oppressive government that is the oppressive minority will continue doing that which they think they can get away with. But flip side, as I say it in front of a police station, you can't respond in a way that they want you to respond in that will justify even more harsher measures. It is part and parcel of the game of chess that everyone is playing right now. It's chess with our lives and our liberties. Okay, on that note, stay optimistic. There's no choice. Stay respectful. There's no choice. What are you doing? And above all else, act and react in a way that is not going to be counterproductive to the very interests that you have in this game of chess. With that said, peace.
Well, friends, we have a SWAT team in our church again, calming authorities. So I'm going to go out and see what they want. Yes.
Hello, Artur.
Hi. Arthur. I wonder if I could just give you a copy, please, of the court order. This is for you. It basically outlines that we have the right to enter today. What I would really,
Please, you don't have to get into a personal space. Thank you.
what I would,
Well, you're in my
Yeah,
personal
exactly.
space, so
Can I explain to you, Arthur?
I'm not
Can I-
really interested in
can
what
I
you have to say.
explain- Can I explain to you?
I'm reading.
Okay. What we'd want to do is make sure that we're not going to disrupt anything with the service. The idea
This
is
is you have a wrong.
What?
This is not street church. This is not street church. You have a wrong.
there's both things are actually on there.
Both.
Both churches are detailed on there. So if we could come and do
The
an
Cave of
inspection-
Adullam is not a registered organization, and this is not street church. So you have a wrong. You gotta
Okay.
do your homework first before you come. Okay? You have a wrong. You have a wrong organization.
Okay, that is for you, Arthur.
Yeah.
I will send it to you by email too, if you'd like. I just wanted to be able to come today and then at least explain the order, serve the order, and then we can stand at the back.
No, you can contact.
stand at the
No,
back
no, 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 no,
during
no.
the service
You
and
can
just do
contact my
it.
lawyer.
We'll
Okay,
be
my
there for
lawyer
3
takes care
minutes,
of
and then we
this.
can be out
I'm
of
not interested to listen to any word you have to say. I do not cooperate with Gestapo. I do not talk to the Nazis. You came in your uniforms like thugs. That's what you are. Brown shirts of Adolf Hitler. You're Nazi, Gestapo, communist, fascist. I do not cooperate with Nazis. Talk to my lawyer. You're not allowed here. You're not welcomed here. And I'm not going to cooperate with Gestapo like you, okay? So is that fair enough for you?
Arthur,
Talk
I
to
just
my
wanted-
lawyer.
I just wanted to explain a little bit about the order.
I'm not
I just wanted
interested.
to at least have a conversation.
I'm not
And then we
interested
can
in
talk
talking. You
about
see,
some of
you see,
the
this is what the
requirements.
Gestapo is doing. You're coming to the place of worship to intimidate
We're not
and to
coming to
harass.
intimidate. We're
So
coming to
you
make
can
sure
make an
that you-
appointment, lady. Listen to me.
We
You can make an appointment another day.
Okay, there's
You
no-
Gestapo
You don't need to shout.
another day.
You don't need to shout.
Not this day.
You don't need to shout.
Not this day.
Okay,
Not during the church.
okay,
You understand? Make an appointment.
okay, fine.
Okay, so go.
See you later on. Have a good day.
You are sick. That's what you are. And rightfully so, you change your uniforms to black because you're exactly acting like the Gestapo of old. Sickening what this country came to. Coming to the place of worship with their uniform, with their guns, again, during the time of worship. They could do it another time. They could do it another day. No, they are following the orders of the Führer, Hitler, communists. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wicked, evil people. Wicked, evil people.